Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that everything you know about time, days, months, even the very year, had been rewritten. Your birthday no longer exists. Sunday is gone. The 7-day week has vanished, and the year? It's not 1793. It's simply year 2. Welcome to the French Republican calendar. In the midst of the French Revolution, when the guillotine was a constant hum and the monarchies were falling like dominoes, a small group of radicals decided that it wasn't just society or government that needed change, but time itself needed change. The Gregorian calendar, they believed, was a relic of monarchs and monks. It was stained with the memory of kings, saints, and popes. So in 1793, the revolutionary government introduced something unprecedented, a completely new calendar designed to sever France from its royal and religious past. This was more than a new way to measure the days. It was a philosophical reordering of reality itself. The French Republican calendar was officially adopted by the National Convention on October 24th of 1793, but its timeline was retroactively set to begin on September 22nd of 1792, the day after France officially became a republic. It was the work of mathematicians, astronomers, and revolutionaries, most notably Charles Gilbert Rhum, a politician and scientist who led the calendar commission. They wanted to eliminate every trace of religious and royal influence in French life, and they believed that even the structure of the week could shape people's thoughts and behaviors. The calendar was meticulously rational. It was based on decimalization, echoing the newly introduced metric system. The year was divided into 12 months of exactly 30 days. These months had names that reflected the natural world, not Christian saints or Roman emperors. You had names like vintage, or fog, or frost, or snow, or rain, wind, seed, flower, and the list goes on, such as meadow, harvest, heat, or fruit. These names painted a poetic picture of the season. Time was to be grounded in nature, not religion. Each month had 3 decades, not weeks but 10-day periods. The 10th day of each decade, called Decadi, was the official day of rest. The 7-day week was abolished entirely. This change was deeply symbolic. It was a direct attack on the Christian tradition of Sunday as a holy day, and each day wasn't just numbered. And perhaps the most radical feature, every single day was given a name, not of saints or kings, but of plants, tools, animals, and minerals. For instance, instead of Saint Bartholomew's Day, you'd have Apple Day or Pickaxe Day. These names were chosen to glorify the rural laborer and the world of agriculture, what revolutionaries considered the true backbone of France. 5 or 6 extra days were tacked on at the end of the year to account for the full solar cycle. These were called the complementary days, and they were used for festivals celebrating virtue, talent, labor, and other revolutionary ideas. So why go to such lengths to change the calendar? The answer lies in the revolution's obsession with control. The revolutionaries weren't just changing politics, they were trying to erase the past, both figuratively and literally. They believed that the old ways of thinking were bound up in the very structure of time, and if they could redefine that structure, they could redefine the mindset of the French people and ultimately European people. If the church sanctioned the time, if it sanctified time, then the revolution would secularize it. In a way, this was the most radical act of all, not storming the the Bastille, not executing the king, but attempting to redefine how people understood the universe itself. It was, in effect, an attempt to reprogram human thought through the clock and calendar. But as utopian as it sounded, the calendar was wildly unpopular. Peasants and clergy despised it. The 10-day week was especially brutal for laborers who got fewer rest days. The religious felt alienated by the erasure of their holy calendar, and even ordinary people struggled to keep track of birthdays, anniversaries, and market days. Businesses had to maintain two different systems just to function. One, the Republican system, and one, the Gregorian system. And even worse, the new time system didn't stop with the calendar. The revolutionaries tried to impose decimal time, dividing the day into 10 hours, each with 100 minutes, each with 100 seconds. And it didn't last very long. People couldn't adapt to this. Clockmakers refused to produce decimal clocks. Imagine telling time when noon is 5 o'clock. By the time the early 1800s had arrived, the dream of revolutionary time was already beginning to collapse. After Napoleon seized power, he quickly understood the need for stability, and on January 1st of 1806, the Gregorian calendar was officially reinstated. The French Republican calendar had lasted just 13 years, yet its legacy still kind of lingers, as we're talking about it right now, right? Now it stands as one of the most bold, most sweeping attempts in human history to reshape reality through reason. It was a radical break from the past, a war on superstition, a mathematical reimagining of daily life. It was also a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most beautifully logical systems can collapse under the weight of human nature. But perhaps the most fascinating part of this forgotten calendar is that for a brief window in history, time itself became a battlefield, where clocks and calendars were not just used to schedule life, but to spark revolution. And in that brief moment, France wasn't just changing the world, it was changing time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my channel, because you'll probably enjoy the rest of my videos as they're pretty much correlated to this in some way, shape, or form. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you enjoyed, as it helps the channel greatly, grow with the algorithm and all that cool stuff. Thanks again for watching. I love you.